Hi, Samantha. Welcome back. You are watching this video on Wednesday, but I am making it on Tuesday. So the data is incomplete. Please continue to take the exit tickets because a lot of these questions will appear on your assessment. Your assessment is going to take place on Friday. So today, Wednesday, you are focusing on continuing to understand the corruption of the church, continuing to define what an indulgence is. We are staying away from Luther right now because right now we're just focusing on the issues of the church. Now, the video that you're gonna watch today, they will make mention of Martin Luther, and he is going to be a very important individual in the Reformation. You'll see that his protests is what really takes off the Protestant Reformation. Again, the Protestant Reformation is an event in the during the Renaissance in 1517, right in the middle of the Renaissance, when the church splinters. That means that the church breaks up. The Catholic Church is no longer only the Christian Church in Europe, but after the Reformation, there's other Christian churches that are formed. Does that mean that the Catholic Church disappears? No, the Catholic Church still remains probably the biggest and the most dominant Christian religion in Europe. But before the Reformation, there was only one Christian religion in Western Europe, the Catholic Church. As a result of the Reformation, now you have many. But that's getting ahead. Today, let's look at the exit ticket. Only 57 students have taken it. A lot of UC Davis students haven't taken it because they haven't had my class yet. Yeah, let's look at some of these answers. In the Catholic Church, purgatory and hell are the same thing? Question. The answer is no. Purgatory is a place that the difference is that purgatory is temporary. That means that your soul of a Catholic person is there to purge. You guys have probably heard the word purge. Purge means eliminate. So in this case, purge or eliminate the sins that the soul may have, so they can enter heaven. Because according to the church, only clean souls can enter heaven. So the answer is false. Hell is permanent, forever, for eternity. Which of the following was the practice of selling church positions? This is called simony. I think I'm saying it correctly. Simony is selling church positions, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of people in the church didn't know what they were doing. A lot of the people that were supposed to be doing jobs for the church, they weren't really doing it well because they had purchased that position and they were not the best qualified people. Okay. Um, which of the following is something that the clergy promised to do? They promised to live and only serve God, and they promise to not have sex. Okay, so these are things that someone said they promised to only have fancy clothing and promised to have as much money as possible. No, that's the opposite. There are 7 sacraments in the Catholic Church. You will see that this is something that Protestants begin to question. They begin to say, where does it say there's 7 sacraments in the Bible? I can only find 2. Okay, so this is another big issue, and the reason why we're focusing on the sacraments a lot because it is a big part of Christian belief. In regards to this unit, which of the following best defines the word indulgence? When you indulge, that means you take part in something that you really enjoy. In this case, an indulgence is a document that the church sold that would limit your time in purgatory, and you could also buy one for a dead relative or a dead friend. The church said they work for people that have already died, right? So if you're afraid of someone being in hell or not hell and purgatory, then this document will save them. Originally, an indulgence was given to someone who did a good work, right? A good work. And the church was able to work with this because they said, well, you are technically doing a good work because you are helping us build St. Peter's Basilica. So the answer is people that did a good action. What was one of the main reasons the Catholic Church began to sell many indulgences? Because they wanted to build St. Peter's Basilica, that big basilica in Rome. According to the Catholic Church, purgatory is a place where a soul goes to get cleaned, to remove any sin. Huge shout out to Lamis, huge shout out to Ernesto, And huge shout out to Shyla. They did an amazing job. This is one of them. There's another one, and there's another one. Okay, they did an incredible job here. For this one, why did people begin to resent or push back against the church? Because they saw the corruption in the church. They saw that priests couldn't read or write. They saw that priests were stealing their wives. They saw that priests were living like kings or emperors or princesses. They saw that priests were having kids. They saw the Pope having kids. And this is the Renaissance when people begin to really question authority. Right now, the Reformation is a movement led by people at the top. It is not necessarily led by people at the bottom, like the poor peasants. Poor peasants really don't do this. It's people at the very top that begin to challenge this. Okay, and that creates a whole problem for the church. Okay, so I'm gonna be showing you guys a documentary. Hopefully, it's not get blocked. It doesn't get blocked. The documentary is called Luther, and it is based on the teachings of Luther. But I'm going to try to eliminate what I'm trying to not focus on Luther right now. I'm only focusing on the issues of the church. Let's look at this primary source. So, if you remember, and we're going to focus more on this guy later. So there's this person called Johann Tetso, who's a friar, like a priest in Germany, and his job is to sell indulgences, right? His job is to sell indulgences, and people saw him as kind of like a scheming person who took advantage of people. But this is his sermon. This is what he says. Hopefully, I can write on this. This is what he said. Why aren't you working? I can't write on this. Sorry, guys. He said, know that life of man upon earth is a constant struggle. So he said, life here on earth is hard. It's very difficult. We have to fight against the flesh. We have to fight against having sex, pretty much what he says, against worldly pleasures. The world and the devil, we have to fight. There's a lot of issues that are constantly facing us here on earth. We must fight the devil too, who is always seeking to destroy the soul. So the devil's always trying to destroy the soul. In sin, we are conceived. So when we are born, we come with sin. What bonds of sin encompasses, and alas, what bonds of sin encompasses? That's a hard word. Encompass us. We are surrounded by sin, and how difficult and almost impossible it is to attain to the gates of salvation without divine aid. So it is very difficult to enter heaven. He's saying without help from the church and from God, since He causes us to be saved. So when he says he's talking about Jesus or God. Since He causes us to be saved, not by virtue of the good works which we accomplish, but through His divine mercy. God lets us into heaven because He is merciful. It is necessary to put on the armor of God. So we must bring God into our lives. This is what he's saying. Yeah, he's trying to convince people of certain ideas. And then he says, you may obtain a letter of safe conduct. This is an indulgence. A letter of safe conduct from the vicar of our Lord Jesus. The vicar means the Pope. He says, here's a letter from the Pope who represents Jesus here on earth, by means of which you are able to liberate your soul from the hands of the enemy. If you buy this letter, you will be able to be saved from this enemy. Do you know that when it is necessary for anyone to go to Rome or undertake any other dangerous journey, he takes his money to a broker and gives a certain percent, 5 or 6 or 10, in order that in Rome or elsewhere he may receive again his funds intact? By means of a letter of the same broker? Are you not willing then for the fourth part of the florin? So he's saying, are you not willing to give us some of this money to obtain these letters, by virtue of which you may bring not your money, but your divine and immortal soul safe and sound to the land of paradise? So he's pretty much saying, when you come to Rome, bring your money, you'll be able to buy one of these indulgences that will help you enter heaven. Okay. Again, I hope that one of these videos does not get blocked. If it does, then I apologize. They're going to talk about Martin Luther a little bit, but don't focus too much on Luther. We're focusing on the issues of the church. How do I do this?
7 years had passed since Luther's visit to Rome. In that time, Pope Julius II had died. He was succeeded by Leo X.
So Leo X is the Pope, and he's related to the Medici family, and he is the one that needs to build his St. Peter's Basilica.
And Leo was a man devoted to the pleasures of the flesh.
So right now they're gonna talk about something that is like obviously very not good, right? But it gives you an idea of what these priests or popes were doing.
At his dinner parties, he would regularly serve a great cake from which would leap little naked boys. Within 2 years of sumptuous festivals and wild boar hunts, Leo had emptied the papal treasuries. He was forced to halt work on the church's greatest extravagance yet, the glorious Basilica of St. Peter's.
One of the greatest building schemes in European history, and all the great artists and sculptors and architects of the Italian Renaissance, without exception, took part in this scheme. It just sucked in money, as building projects do suck in money.
Leo was unconcerned. To refill his treasuries, he turned to one of the church's most proven methods for raising money: selling indulgences, charging the faithful for entry into heaven.
This indulgence was basically a piece of paper sold for a very appropriate sum of money, incidentally adjusted to your means, which promised to pay the bearer on demand forgiveness of sins.
Leo's indulgence had a number of unique benefits. You could buy one not just for yourself, but also for your dead relatives.
And remember, this is a time, the Middle Ages is known as a age of faith. This is a time when people are incredibly devout, incredibly religious, and they really believe what the Pope is saying.
And it pardoned an astonishing array of sins. It was said that it would even forgive sexual intercourse with the Virgin Mary, had that been possible. Here was salvation in exchange for a sum.
The sums of money trying to be raised in the 1517 indulgence are very, very large, and we're talking tens of thousands of gulden. We're talking in modern money, many millions.
Leo made careful preparations for the issuing of his new indulgence. He brought in a Dominican friar called Johann Tetso to handle the sales and PR. He had chosen well.
Tetzel was a marvelous advertising executive who had a wonderful line in promotional.
So this is another line that he has.
Jingles and slogans. He almost invented the advertising jingle, you see. He would say, when the coin in his coffer rings, then the soul heavenward wings. See, you can actually see the soul escalating to heaven from purgatory.
Leo waited for his empty coffers to fill with the donations of the faithful.
So here I'm going to show you. I probably won't show you all the video, but this is based on a movie called Luther, and just a little preview of Luther. Luther was a monk. He was a Catholic monk, or he was one of the branches of Catholicism, and he was the one that really began to question the church and began to like speak out against it. But he wasn't always like that, right? At his first 20, 30 years of his life, he was a devout Catholic. He followed the church. He did everything he needed to do, and then he began to realize this is incorrect.
until the fire ignites. Everything has been prepared, exactly as you instructed.
If this video ends up being blocked, I will give you the link to this video because you need to watch this one.
Good people of Uterberg, have you ever burned your hand in the fire? Even one finger made raw by the flame will torment you throughout the night. Is it not so? Imagine then your entire body burning. Not for one sleepless night, not for a week, but for all eternity. Are we to be spared the fires of damnation on the judgment day? Tonight, your Pope, the Vicar of Christ, sends you a gift to save you from such fires. A special indulgence granted for the building of St. Peter's Church in Rome.
So I want to clarify here that an indulgence, according to the church, will get you out of purgatory. And what he said was that the indulgence will save you from eternal. Eternal means hell. The indulgence will not get you out of hell. It will get you out of purgatory.
Where the bones of the apostles lie mouldering, exposed to wind and rain, desecrated by wild animals.
So he's talking about like the money that you pay for the indulgence will be used to build St. Peter's Basilica. And St. Peter's Basilica is, according to Christianity, is the location of the body of St. Peter's, the first pope.
Take heed, the words of your Holy Father who says, lay a stone for St. Peter's, and you lay the foundation for your own salvation and happiness in heaven. How? With this indulgence. When? Tonight, and only tonight. Seek the Lord while he is near. Here is your raft.
It kind of reminds me a little bit about when I see an infomercial and they say, buy this, whatever, right? But only while limited, only while supplies last, only for 1 day sale. Kind of like that. Like it kind of makes you buy it because you think that you might miss out.
Take hold. In heaven there is a treasure chest filled with merit. Merit from Christ Jesus, the Virgin Mary, and the saints who, through their holy lives, have merit to spare for us, poor sinners in need. Tonight that treasury is open to you. Do you not hear their voices? The screaming voices. Your deceased parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, screaming, beloved child, beloved child. Because for a few coins, you can rescue them from their punishments and pain. Listen, open your ears.
So he's saying, can you not hear them? Your dead parents, your dead relatives who are screaming in pain, that for a few coins you can save them. because according to the church, you could buy an indulgence to help them get out of purgatory faster.
Father calling to son, mother to daughter. When a coin in the coffer rings, a soul from purgatory springs.
So I'm guessing this person is representing Johann Tetso.
God-fearing man, do you have a coin for Christ? Yes. Gentle mother, when the time comes, make certain your crippled child can run to Jesus. These learned monks are standing by to write down your name or the name of a loved one, dead or alive, on this, your passport to the celestial joys of paradise.
Nee, doe dan werkelijk. Nee. Nee.
Bitte.
So here is the person that plays Martin Luther. Interesting fact about this guy: he also played Lord Voldemort in the Harry Potter movies.
Dr. Martin. I did this for Greta.
Issued by the Archbishop of Mainz.
Last year, someone asked me why do they have that haircut, and somebody told me, but I forgot. So if you want to find out why monks have that haircut, find out.
Where did you get this?
Jüteborg. I bought it in the church.
It's just paper. These words mean nothing.
So Martin Luther says this is useless, which is completely unacceptable to the church. But he is going to be the person that pushes the church because he says this is not okay. This is abuse. This is not right. Um, which is heresy, right? Because he's literally calling the Pope a liar. Um, and he runs into a lot of trouble because of this. But then people begin to actually follow him.
It's no good.
You must put your trust in God's love. Save your money.
He said, you must put your trust in God's love, save your money.
Defeat Greta.
Save your money to feed her daughter, the little girl.
To Albert of Mainz, Father in Christ and most illustrious Prince, forgive me that I should dare to write to you. I make bold because it is my duty to serve you and to warn you of the crooked practices of those who claim to represent your grace.
So he's sending a letter to the Pope, saying, "There's just people selling these things that don't work," but the Pope actually allowed it.
Christ did not command the preaching of indulgences, but of the gospel.
Forward this to Rome.
Christians are to be taught that he who gives to the poor or lends to the needy does a better deed than he who buys indulgences.
If the Pope can empty purgatory, why would he not do so out of love rather than for money?
Who is this Martin Luther? Fritz? What?
So we're gonna stop here because I don't want to get ahead. Like, I want you just to focus on the issues facing the church. Your quiz is on Friday. It will not focus on Luther. It was gonna focus on issues of the church. So Wednesday, the day today, you're watching the video. You're watching the video. Do the best you can. You have an exit ticket. Thursday we'll have a study guide. Friday you have your quiz. If you are missing videos, I will not release the quiz to you until you do that, and that includes quizzes for the Renaissance. Some students are still working on those. Please go back and catch up. I will see you guys later. Bye.